The Duracell Cup Series here in the NNSCRA rolls on as we get ready for our 8th race of the season here for the Toyota Save Mart 350 at our first road course stop of the season, Sonoma Raceway. Other people will refer to it as Infineon Raceway, and the old schoolers refer to it as Sears Point. Going to be an interesting race here today because we ended up coming off 2 weeks ago our first short track race. Last week was our first dirt track race, and today is our first road course race. So these drivers have been hit with all shapes and sizes of tracks here in the last couple of weeks, and we'll see if we may end up getting our 8th different winner in as many races to start off the year. And if that's the case, then obviously this early on in the season, we haven't even reached All-Star Race Week. It is going to get very congested with drivers battling to try and get themselves into one of the 16 spots in this season's postseason, the playoffs, the chase for the championship. Wyatt Quail will line up on the pole position for today's race. Now, if we were normally driving in a race, you would think that would be the outside line, but there is a left-hander as the first corner here, so Wyatt Quail is scored the pole sitter alongside our Daytona 500 winner, Carter Friesen. Carter Friesen comes into this race currently 20th in the point standings. Remember, he, a couple of weeks ago, was down, getting close to maybe falling outside the top 30 in the points, but he has been able to kind of stop the bleeding, if you will, and he currently is in the top 20 in points. Wyatt Quail, on the other hand, is 26th in the standings, still looking for his first win. As a matter of fact, the Joanna Atwood Motorsports team is still looking for their first win overall, and we'll see if they can maybe get it here today. Cole Baker lines up there in the second row along with Chris Dollerton, a couple of other drivers that really could use a win. Baker comes into this race 23rd in points. Chris Dollerton comes into this race dead last in the standings, so think of him definitely needing a win to give himself a shot in the arm. Let's go down trackside and get the command.
Drivers, start your engines!
So as the command is given, they're not going to be taking a long time before they get to the start-finish line, so we'll give you your points as quickly as we can. Jesse Turner is now the new points leader. He took the points lead away last week after Springfield from Jordan Lopez. Benny Watson, he is third in the points coming to this race. Zach Rogers in fourth. Fifth is Dylan Poteet, who won last week at Springfield. Diego Yepez, Charles Sandford, James Qualls, Matthew Rodriguez, and Austin LaPlante. That is your top 10 in the points coming into today's event. 28 laps of racing here today at Sonoma. Sure to be a wild one and could very well come down to fuel strategies. We are also running the 2019 rules package here today, so we'll see how that plays into a road course race as the flagman is ready and the green flag is in the air. Let's roll at Sonoma. Wyatt Quail breaks out with the lead. Carter Friesen in a battle for second with Cole Baker and Chris Dollerton. Jessica Shelton, our winner from a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago to be exact, back in Phoenix, winning that race on fuel mileage right up here towards the front. K Mathews, who won 2 weeks ago in a wreck fest at Bristol. Got a couple of candidates up here, as I mentioned right there, that could be the first two-time winner on the season. So far, 7 races, 7 different drivers have been to victory lane. Little contact there between Dollerton and Friesen, and Dollerton muscles his way into the second position. Now Carter Friesen under fire from his friend there, Cole Baker. Toyota still looking for their first win of the season, as is Dodge. You have Zach Rogers up there in the top 10. So far this season, it's been all Chevys and Fords. Chevy started out the year with a win, then it was Ford, and now it's been Chevy in the last 3 races. And right now, there are 2 Fords, 1 and 2 right now with Quail and Dollerton. I went back, and I thought, you know, coming into this race, I couldn't really think of anybody really considered a road course ace that we could watch as a favorite here today. Because our usual road course favorites at tracks we go to, like Sean Galligan and Anthony McCrory, they're not in the field this season. So I went back and I looked at all the previous Infineon and Sonoma races that we've had here on the channel, and I did manage to find a few drivers that are in this series that do have previous wins, whether it be in a Cup Series or not, here at Sonoma. One of them is Matthew Rodriguez. He won an Oreo Truck Series race here back in Season 5. Jessica Shelton is a former winner here at Infineon, winning in the NRSL Reese's Late Model Series. That was back when there were, I think, 4 classes, and she was in Class C5. She won the overall race, as well as winning for her classes. I think the caution might be out. And indeed it is. Yellow flag is out. First time today that the yellow flag will wave, and it takes place on lap 2. The other 2 drivers that have wins here at Infineon include J Qualls. He won the Season 10 Snickers Cup Series race here, and D Poteet, the defending winner so far this season. He won the Season 4 Hershey's Cup Series race here at Infineon. So 4 drivers come in, previous winners at Infineon or Sonoma, whichever you have here on this channel. Let's see who was involved in this first caution of the day. A couple of cars back here with some damage. R Brommer in the 9, Adam Garcia in the 12. So I would assume that they are the reasoning for this first caution. Be interesting to see if these drivers decide to come to pit road this time or not. I'm not exactly sure what the fuel window is for these drivers, but I'm pretty certain they can't make it 28 laps on what's in the tank. So would they decide to pit now under this caution, or will we end up still seeing green flag pit stops near the latter portions of this race? Well, for now, we're going to go back and take a look at a replay of what brought out the caution for the first time here today at Sonoma. One of the most treacherous parts of the track to try and go side by side through here on the downhill slope S's. This was a battle around the 20th position. J Sandfer got a good view of it. Here you see R Brommer. Looks like he just got up there on the curbing, and he wheel hopped and bounced into the 12 of Adam Garcia. Both cars make some pretty significant contact with the wall. That is concrete. There are no safer barriers around Infineon. It's either concrete walls or tire walls, and either one is just going to rip or mangle your car up, and that is exactly what happens there. A lot of rear end damage on Adam Garcia's number 12 out of Young Motorsports, and a lot of rear and right side damage on R Brommer's Dodge Challenger. And that was what brought out the caution for the first time here today at Sonoma. Pit road was open, and everybody came to pit road. And the race leader, which at the time was J Quail, they did not get it done on pit road. He's going to come off pit lane. I think back in the 5th position, J Dollerton comes out with the lead. Now with road course cautions, when pit road is open, the lights go out on the pace car and we get the 1 to green signal. You can see the lights are out, so we will be going back green on lap 5. J Dollerton will be the race leader now, with C Friesen in 2nd. Cole Baker will be 3rd, K Mathews in 4th, and J Quail loses 4 positions on pit road. He'll restart back in 5th. Rest of the top 10 for the restart are going to be Jack Mitchell in 6th, Mitchell Collins in 7th, Jessica Shelton 8th, Jordan Lopez in 9th, and Zach Rogers will complete the top 10. J Dollerton, obviously, we already documented, dead last in the points coming into this race. He needs a good performance pretty soon if he's going to get himself up into the top 30 in the point standings, to have himself in any way have a win count towards a playoff spot. His teammate Levi McIntire having a much better season, 16th in points coming into this race, but Dollerton still trying to get those spinning wheels a little bit of traction, if you will. I also noticed too that one of the drivers involved in that wreck, Adam Garcia, he's been struggling this year, 39th in points, and so that wreck that he was involved in, not of his own making, certainly was not something that he needed. A number of drivers have been struggling this year. A couple of them running up here towards the front of the field, though. You've got Jack Mitchell up in 6th. He's 37th in the points coming in this race, and I don't know why, but whenever we come to a road course, it always seems like we're at a super speedway, where I have that old adage that super speedways always seem to cater to the underdog or the driver struggling in points. Well, it always seems like the road courses do the same thing. I don't know why, but it always just seems to happen here. So J Dollerton going to lead the field down here to the start-finish line. It'll be a single file restart this time, so we may get a chance, possibility of going into a long green flag run. We'll have to wait and see if that's going to be the case as Dollerton waits, and the green flag is back in the air here at Sonoma. 24 laps to go. And even with them all coming to pit road here under this caution, I'm still not 100% certain they can make it on fuel. Only time will tell. As Wyatt Quail, I think he had an issue on that start. Jack Mitchell got alongside him for 5th place. Let's actually drop back to that as Quail's going to hang on to the spot. Mitchell drops back into 6th. Best battle right now is for 10th. Julius Anderson to the inside of Zach Rogers. Actually, that's 8th place. My apologies. And now Anderson going for 7th on Jordan Lopez. Boy, that 4 car making some moves and driving it in deep into the corners. Side by side with Jordan Lopez. Going to clear him through the S's. Lopez tries the crossover move. Can't do it. Side by side back here. This, I think, is for either 11th or 12th. Zach Rogers, J Shelton. You got J Gardner right there as well. And the caution is out again. Joe Collins making a move on Jack Mitchell. That's for 6th. Not going to be able to get it. It looks like Benny Watson is on pit road. So it looks like the 75 is the reason for this caution. And Benny Watson comes into this race 3rd in the point standings. I see some skid marks coming off the first corner there, and I wonder if maybe that's where Benny Watson had his wreck. I didn't see any caution lights on all the way around the racetrack, but then again, they're not exactly in the most best places to be able to spot if the caution is out or not. Usually the only way I'm able to tell is if I can see if the red lights are flashing on the pit road entrance light. So Dollerton will lead us under our 2nd caution, and I do believe it was the 75 I saw at pit road. J Millz on pit road as well in the 98. J Millz, who had just last week worked his way back up into the top 30 in points to try and have his win at Las Vegas count towards a playoff spot. And now he's on pit road, and Benjamin Miles, a lot of damage on the car that comes into this race, 33rd in points. Pretty certain I saw Benny Watson on pit road as well. We'll go back and see what brought out this, our 2nd caution of the day at Sonoma. This is when we got the green flag for the restart, and boy, they really got very anxious back here mid-pack. They were 3 wide crossing the line. And this is not exactly a corner. This is a very tight corner. You don't want to go double wide through here, let alone 3 wide. And the contact is going to take place right there. I don't know if Batson got into J Millz or not, but then Millz gets into LaPlante. Then Miles had contact. I think that was with Batson. That shoots him straight into the 98. Oh, wow. Miles, pretty hard hit. And then Millz goes sliding all the way into the infield. That is a long ways that the 98 car slid. And I think he teleported back to pit road because he couldn't find his way back out of there. Now, I thought I saw Benny Watson on pit road, but Watson was behind that wreck. Oh, wait a minute. There's Watson there in the 75. Okay, so let's see if he was involved in this wreck or not. Okay, he had a little contact with, I think that's Batson. There's the contact right there. But I don't think that contact would have been enough for him to have to teleport to pit road. Let's fast forward a little, see if he gets stuck in the grass or something. No, he keeps it going. Then we had another wreck further up. Wait a minute. What was that in that corner? Oh, a couple of cars going really wide. Seth Cole and Dylan Poteet, but I don't think there was a wreck. I think that was everybody trying to avoid the 48 of LaPlante, actually. Why did we see, or at least I thought I saw, maybe it was J Millz that I saw on pit road. Watson looks good all the way through here, so I guess it wasn't Benny Watson. Let's see going around here if I see that car on pit road and if that indeed is J Millz. Oh, yep, okay, yep. If you look right there, that car at the first glance kind of looks similar. It's got the blue up top and the white down low on the paint scheme and the red number. So I thought it was Benny Watson on pit road. It was J Millz. So Watson was actually okay. So it was J Millz I saw on pit road, and that's what brought out the caution for the 2nd time here today at Sonoma. Well, this caution definitely made things interesting. We had a mixed bag of drivers come to pit lane, including the race leader Chris Dollerton, giving up the top position coming to pit road. A number of others came to pit road as well. However, a number of drivers decided to stay out. I believe our top 11 or 12. So K Friesen will restart the leader. K Mathews lines up in second. Cole Baker third. Mitchell Collins fourth. Fifth is going to be Julius Anderson. Sixth is Shelton, seventh is Gardner, eighth Matthew Rodriguez, ninth is R Acosta, completing the top 10 is William Brock, 11th place is Michael Norman, and he was the last of the drivers to stay out. Chris Dollerton will restart in 12th. He was the first driver to pit. Wyatt Quail will be 13th, Jack Mitchell 14th, 15th Zach Rogers, and it's J Jefferson, Carson Gum, Jordan Lopez, James Shelly, and T Wright. That's going to be your top 20 as we go back green. And if we go into a long green flag run, I'm kind of wondering about these top 11 that decided to stay out. Are the drivers from Dollerton on back that pitted, are they good to go on fuel now? And these other drivers hoping for another caution, these top 11? I don't know. Going to have to wait and see. After the incident that we saw take place, though, nobody out of the race. Benjamin Miles had an extended stay on pit road for repairs, but he is still on the lead lap. J Millz has returned back to the track as well. He is trapped one lap down, however, due to the fact that he, of course, had the having to teleport back to pit road. Don't know if he's going to be catching up here and line up on the inside line or not. I don't even see him, so I guess not. I guess he's still trying to catch up to the field, as I think he was on pit road again. Oh, we got the 1 green signal, green flag back in the air for K Friesen. And K Mathews with a jump to the outside. They'll get alongside of Friesen into this corner. K Mathews trying to win his second race of the season. Same for K Friesen. Friesen winning at Daytona, Mathews winning at Bristol, and I think Kyle may have Carter in this corner. Mitchell Collins right there as well. Nope, Kyle doesn't have Carter cleared yet, as Baker went off the course and he's going to lose a number of positions. Look at Mitchell Collins making a three-dog fight for the front now. We're going to take this battle into the S's, it looks like, although Kyle, I thought he had Carter cleared. Not quite. You're going to have to be careful through this corner. They don't want to wreck each other for the lead. And there goes Mathews into the wall with Friesen. They saved it, though. They're going to lose spots, but they both saved it. And now they got to get back on the track safely. And Mathews, I don't think, is very happy with the 37. They both get back on track safely, but the caution is indeed out. I don't think it was for K Mathews and K Friesen, though, because neither of them wrecked. Caution is out, though. Mitchell Collins inherits the race lead. And we're under our third caution of the day. That was a tremendous save by Friesen and Mathews. Friesen crossed the line in 7th. Mathews crossed back in 15th. They were battling for the lead at the time. And now Mitchell Collins is going to be the race leader, and I'm wondering if maybe those top 11 that stayed out on the last caution, if they're going to have to pit this, if they're going to want to pit this time. Every time you pit under caution makes it closer that you can make it to the finish if you go green the rest of the way. Let's go back, take a look at a replay of what brought out our third caution of the day. I don't think it was what happened to Friesen and Mathews. I think it was something else. Now, more issues on the restart right there. You see, I don't know from this angle if Carson Gum sideswiped J Jefferson or if Jefferson just kind of spun the tires. But Jefferson gets sideways. His car loses a tremendous amount of speed. There's oncoming traffic, and so NNSCRA officials have no choice but to throw the yellow flag. That is the second time that we have had a caution come out for some stack-up taking place on the restart. So these drivers need to be a little bit more calmer on these restarts, I think, if we're going to settle with a long green flag run. But nonetheless, that's what brought out the caution. Not really much of an incident, so to speak. But it brings out the yellow flag nonetheless and puts us closer and closer into that fuel window. And much as I was expecting, the drivers that stayed out under the last caution came to pit road this time. The drivers that came to pit road last time stayed out this time. And as a consequence, Chris Dollerton re-inherits the lead. Jack Mitchell will line up in second. Third place, Wyatt Quail. Fourth is going to be Zach Rogers. Levi McIntire now up to fifth. James Shelly sixth. Benny Watson will be seventh. Eighth place is going to be Jordan Lopez. His teammate T Wright in ninth. And Matt Haas will complete the top 10. So with Dollerton and company pitting back on the last caution, and Mitchell Collins pitting from the lead with a number of others that were up towards the front on this caution, we will be restarting with 18 laps to go. Are these drivers now good to go on fuel, or have we still not yet entered into the fuel window where these drivers will be able to make it the rest of the way? That's going to be the big question. I was hoping that, after one, maybe two early cautions, we were going to settle into a long green flag run and be able to see just exactly what the fuel window is for these drivers. Maybe have a fuel strategy race, but right now, drivers having some issues with keeping it green, especially on the initial restarts, and that's taking away from the possibility of fuel strategy, at least so far in this race. So fingers crossed these drivers can maybe make it through turns 1 and 2 without wrecking this time, and we can actually settle into a long green flag run. K Friesen and K Mathews, both of them with that save, but I believe Mathews brushed the concrete wall, so they had a little bit of an extended stay on pit road, and all 40 cars, again, still running. We do have one car a lap down, that is J Millz, but it looks like he'll be starting at the rear of the field. Apparently we don't have the double file restarts here at Sonoma, which, to be honest, I'm kind of thankful for. So here's the question: can we complete one lap under green? We ran 2 green flag laps at the initial start, and so far now we've had the caution come out almost as soon as the green flags come out on the last 2 restarts. So can we possibly complete this lap under green and get ourselves into a long green flag run? Time will tell. Green flag back in the air. 18 laps to go here at Sonoma. And there's your answer. That's Jordan Lopez, who pounded the wall. I saw James Shelly involved. I see Matt Haas back there with a lot of front end damage. We're under caution again. It's those restarts. They'd go double and 3 wide, and you just can't do that through that corner. I don't understand why drivers are taking those risks. I know that on restarts at road courses, that's your best opportunity to be able to pick up positions, because that's when everyone's close together. But I don't know. It's driver's choice, I guess, but they have to weigh the risk versus the reward for sure. And this will be another caution that will give these drivers the choice of, do they want to come to pit road again and try and ensure that they are going to be good to go on fuel, or at least be able to save here under this pacing lap? As Chris Dollerton will lead them around, and he will take our 4th yellow flag of the day. Well, I saw Jordan Lopez was the one that pounded the concrete wall in the background. He came into this race second in the points, lost the points lead to Jesse Turner last week. I see Matt Haas back there with damage. T Wright's got damage. I know James Shelly was involved in the wreck. There is Lopez. Can't even turn that car. Scraping the wall there on pit road entry. And that car is done for the day. There's Shelly. Damage on just about every side of that race car. Looks like there might be some damage on the 7 of M McIntire. Oh, yeah. Looks like he was collected up in this wreck. I don't know if K Mathews was in it or not. I think he's just back here because he was on pit road for a long extended period of time on the last caution. K Friesen, outside pole sitter. He's got rear end damage. There's also rear end damage and front end damage on Julius Anderson. There's also front end damage on Cole Baker. Jessica Shelton and Mitchell Collins. Looks like those two have a little bit of buckles on their hoods. Well, more than a buckle on Collins and pretty much more than a buckle on Shelton's. Dylan Poteet's got some rear end damage on his 31. Looks like we had a pretty extensive stack up, and Levi McIntire's got damage. 4th place car. So it looks like if we had a stack up, it started near the front of the field. And that puts us under the caution for the 4th time today. Chris Dollerton continues to lead. Pits will be open this time. Let's go back and see what happened. We're looking from our helicopter cam for this one. And this was around the 6th position. Levi McIntire jumped to the right to go around Zach Rogers. Shelly tries going to the inside. And there you see T Wright got a good run. And he just kind of drove deep into that corner, and that made it 3 wide, and he gets into J Shelly. There's where Jordan Lopez gets his hit, and then he's going to take a shot right there into the concrete wall. Matt Haas, you see, ran into the back of T Wright. And then there's going to be oncoming traffic here of drivers trying to avoid, and I think you're going to see a couple of drivers get a piece of this action. Either that or we had another wreck further back. Oh, we had another wreck further. Did we? Or is that smoke? No, that's smoke from the earlier incident. So where did Friesen and guys get their damage? Here's Shelton. There's Collins. I think they've got damage already. Were they in another stack up further back? Doesn't look like it. I don't know where they got their damage from, because I don't see them involved. No, they all got through, so they got their damage from something earlier. Maybe a stack up under pacing or something. So it looks like it was Lopez, Shelly, T Wright, Matt Haas that were really the ones involved in that wreck, and it brings out the caution once again. Drivers just trying to cut through that first corner after the start-finish line to gain positions, and it's just bringing out caution after caution. Well, we're starting to get an idea now of what the fuel window is because nobody came to pit road there under this caution. So that says to me that these drivers now are within the fuel window to make it the rest of the way. They're just utilizing these pacing laps now to be able to clutch and save fuel. So that says to me that this is now coming down to every man for himself. Everyone's going to be driving aggressively on these restarts now because they know that it will not come down to green flag pit stops or fuel strategy. So guess we can eliminate pit road playing a factor into the outcome of today's race, at least in green flag conditions. So Chris Dollerton will get us back underway. He's been out in front a couple of times here today, giving up the race lead to come to pit road, but it cycled back around to him. Jack Mitchell lines up in second, so two drivers really struggling in the points, 40th and 37th respectively, running 1-2. Wyatt Quail runs currently in third, Levi McIntire in fourth. Zach Rogers currently is fifth. Sixth is Benny Watson. Seventh is Dylan Young. Eighth, Diego Yepez. Carson Gum in ninth. And last week's winner, Dylan Poteet, right now completes the top 10. Don't really know if it's considered a home track for Charles Sandford, but he is a California native, so running in 11th right now is the 03. 12th is Keith Batson. 13th, the points leader, Jesse Turner. 14th place is Trent Dunham. 15th is Johnny Gardner, and the rest of the top 20 right now, Mitchell Collins, Jessica Shelton, Seth Cole, Matthew Rodriguez, and Ryan Acosta. Getting ready to go back green. And I'm not even going to bother to cross my fingers because I have a feeling we're going to have another wreck take place here on the restart. But we'll have to wait and see. Green flag back in the air. Just now to the halfway point of this race. Jack Mitchell all over the back bumper of Chris Dollerton. And he's going to move to the inside and try and get him here. He's got the preferred line going through the uphill section. He might get Dollerton cleared off this corner. Not quite. Dollerton battles back on the top side. This battle might happen down towards the S's, and the last time we saw a battle happen down towards the S's, it was K Mathews and K Friesen, and we know how that ended. Oh boy. Let's see if these drivers give each other room here as they battle for the lead. J Quail's in the best spot if they wreck. Mitchell drives it in deep, contact with Dollerton. Dollerton gets forced off course, brings it back as he saves it, and Jack Mitchell muscled his way to the top position. And we're not under caution, praise the Lord. We are still green, so maybe, fingers crossed, we can run green to the end. So Chris Dollerton gets moved out of the way for the top position. Mitchell will now go to the point. And now the caution's out. Okay. Well, I thought we were going to get a green flag run in, and then as soon as it looked like they weren't going to have a yellow flag, they apparently had a wreck. I'm assuming probably over in the S's. It's kind of discouraging for me, to be honest. Makes me wish I had turned cautions off. I know that that would have been kind of unfair to drivers, but would have at least made for at least more decent racing, and we wouldn't be running so many laps under pacing. It's kind of how I feel with the race we had back at Bristol. It had the potential to be a really good race. We had that great green flag run battle between T Wright, K Mathews, and J Quail, and then after all of that, we had wreck after wreck after wreck after caution, and that's just kind of what we're having here. We're having great battles for the lead, but we're not allowing it to culminate into anything else because we keep running under the yellow flag. Looks like William Brock may be the reason for this caution. William Brock last week dropped 11 spots in the standings from 6th down to 17th. And doesn't look like he's doing too much better here today, as he is the reason here for, I think this is our 5th? It's either our 4th or 5th, and I want to say it's our 5th caution of the day. That's pretty bad. 5 cautions in the first 15 laps. Nonetheless, caution's out. Let's go back and see what happened. Well, I'll be perfectly honest, I'm not really sure why this brought out a caution, but it did. This was a battle for around the 37th position between damaged cars at the very tail end of the field. Only car that's behind them is the lap car of J Millz. There's the contact right there. M McIntire is going to get J Shelly in the left rear quarter panel. They're going to spin through the grass. And okay, I understand the 71 is sideways, but there's nobody else behind them. It's not like they're coming back into oncoming traffic. It's going to clip the 7. The 7's going to go sideways as well. At that point, that's when, as the officials throw the caution. It's at the rear of the field. The leaders are all the way up, probably in turn 11 by now. There's no way they're going to be catching up to these drivers anytime soon. There was only that one lap car of J Millz behind them. To be honest, I wouldn't have thrown a caution there. But I'm not the NNSCRA officials. I think we might have let Dave Hoots into the NNSCRA officials booth, and I'm not exactly sure if that was a great decision, if that's the case. And it looks like we got some tempers flaring here. J Shelly not happy that he got hooked by M McIntire. Who would have thought a road course would be a place to see tempers flaring? But it certainly looks like that's the case. We already have that potential rivalry brewing that we saw back at, I think it was Atlanta. And, very interesting. Well, it is hot here in Sonoma, so obviously you got to think that the tempers would be a little bit hot here as well. And that puts under the caution at the halfway point here of this race at Sonoma. And it was for an incident battling for the last car on the lead lap. Well, let's go back to green anyway. Well, I thought that with everybody staying out under the last caution that we were going to be good to go on fuel. However, I might be incorrect in that assumption. Jack Mitchell came to pit road, as did J Quail, as did Chris Dollerton, a number of drivers at the front of the field. So, we still may not be good to go on fuel as far as I was expecting. Levi McIntire now inherits the lead with all those drivers pitting. And maybe they're planning, hoping the same as I, that that is the last caution we are going to see. So McIntire will restart the leader. Zach Rogers second. Third is Carson Gum. Jesse Turner, the points leader, will line up in fourth. And it looks like it will be Charles Sandfer, or I'm sorry, Johnny Gardner rather, in fifth. Then Sandfer sixth, Shelton seventh, Dunham, Collins, and Acosta. That's going to be your top 10 when we go back green. I failed to mention that we did have a driver out of the race after the caution that came out 2 yellows ago. That is Jordan Lopez, second in points coming into this race. So he'll finish in 40th. Still trapped a lap down is J Millz in 39th. 39 drivers still running, 38 of them on the lead lap. William Brock did not bring out the caution, as we clearly saw. He decided to hit pit road just before that yellow flag came out. So he's still on the lead lap, and he gained some pretty good track position as a result of that call as well. Levi McIntire's car, you can see, is all crunched up there on the front end, but it doesn't look like it's any damage that's going to affect him speed-wise. And let's get ready now and see if we are indeed going to go green to the finish or not. We have had 5 cautions so far today. The first 15 laps, green flag back in the air as we have 12 laps to go here at Infineon. Looking back through the first corners, and I don't see anybody wrecking. Lights are out on the pace car, so we made it through that corner anyway. Let's see if we can get through the S's as Zach Rogers sets his sights on McIntire. Meanwhile, though, Carson Gum going to make a move for second place. Mentioned it most of the season, Toyota and Dodge still looking for their first win on the year. They've got a couple of candidates up here towards the front, trying to run down the Ford of Levi McIntire. Can we get through the S's without a wreck? That's the big question. We'll know soon enough when we get around here to this straightaway heading down to turn 11 if the red lights are on the pit road lights, and they're still green, so we made it. Now if they'll just stay green for the rest of the race, that would be hunky-dory with me. Carson Gum now into second, trying to run down Levi McIntire. Rogers third. Jesse Turner with the driver that was trying to run him down for the points. He was only 8 points back behind him, DNFing. Turner going for some strategy here, as he's up there in that 4th position trying to grow his points lead heading into next week. And if it comes down to fuel strategy, we know a couple of drivers that know a thing or two about fuel strategy are back there. Jessica Shelton. Oh, we got a trouble back there. That looked like that was Mitchell Collins spun out, but would that bring out a caution? It did. Yep, caution's out. First time we've seen an incident in that corner, as we had a number of drivers on pit road that last lap. Pretty sure it was the 22 I saw spun around, and I can't remember what turn that is. I want to say that's turn 5. Might be turn 7, but I'm not 100% certain. Pit road is closed, and Levi McIntire will lead them back here to the start-finish line, and when he does hit the line, we will be at 10 laps to go here today. 99.9% sure it was Mitchell Collins I saw spun out in that corner. And with him not crossing the line in the top 10, that just basically confirms my suspicions, I would assume. I don't know if he was able to continue or not, or if he had to teleport. There's a lot of tire barriers around there. Shelton was involved as well. Wow, a lot of damage on the 0-2. And there is Collins. There might have actually been contact between Collins and Shelton, it looks like took the brunt of the hit. Shelton comes into this race currently situated in the 15th position in points, our winner from Phoenix. Looks like they're going to try and repair that car. And all these drivers that were on pit road, they're going to get a big break, as they will, looks like, remain on the lead lap. J Yepez, a lot of damage on his race car. Ryan Butcher's on pit road. I don't know if they were around that or not. Levi McIntire leads us under our 6th caution. Let's go back and see what happened. Oh, we got through one lap without the caution coming out, and then the following lap we had 3 incidents take place. This is the first one. Ryan Acosta battling with Mitchell Collins. This was for 9th place, and there was no contact between the 10 and the 22. Collins just overdrives the corner, gets up on the curbing, the rear wheel spin. He locks up the brakes, and watch this. I mean, this could have really been bad for Mitchell Collins. This could have ended his day, and just bumps just barely up against the tires. So he was really lucky in that regard. J Shelton, we saw head damage. Her incident takes place here going in the S's. And I think there's going to be contact between teammates, Shelton and Sandfer. This was a battle for, I believe, the 6th position. Looks like Shelton may get up on the curbing. Yep, wheel hops. That right front goes up in the air. The car doesn't turn. She gets into her teammate Charles Sandfer, who saves it. Shelton, however, not able to save it. Car goes hard into the wall. And then I don't think that's it. I think she tries coming back out onto the track, and I think she gets into somebody. Is it going to be maybe J Yepez? Oh, nope, right there, Ryan Butcher. And then Benjamin Miles going to get a hit there as well in the 25. Benjamin Miles been running at the rear of the field most of the day with a damaged race car and gets even more damage there. And then we saw Diego Yepez was on pit road. Well, here you see him. Well, this was coming around to take the caution. He's battling with D Poteet and Benny Watson. They come around. They receive the yellow flag. We're under caution at this point in time. And I don't know whose fault this is going to be. Almost looks like it was Yepez's fault. Looks like he slid over into D Poteet's lane. Poteet hooks him in the right rear, and hard into the concrete wall goes the Citgo Chevrolet, and a little contact there with his teammate Matt Haas as well. And that's going to be some pretty extensive damage for D Poteet also. So a couple of our former winners this season, Shelton and Poteet, involved with some damage in some wrecks here on this lap. 3 incidents take place in one lap as we get ready now for yet another restart with less than 10 to go. Well, if Chris Dollerton wins this race, I think it's really all going to come down to pit strategy for him on when he came to pit road, because he has pitted from up near the front of the field at least twice that I can remember. And then, when another caution comes out, he inherits the lead. Levi McIntire came to pit road on that last lap, and it turns the race lead over to his teammate Chris Dollerton. Dylan Young will line up in 2nd, Jack Mitchell in 3rd, Wyatt Quail 4th. Matt Haas stayed out, so he'll restart in 5th with J Jefferson in 6th. 7th place is going to be William Brock. Remember, he came to pit road a couple of cautions ago, and so he's going to be up in the 7th position. 8th place is going to be Vince Almariego, first time we've talked about him. 9th, James Qualls, and Adam Garcia, who brought out the first caution, will line up in 10th. And the other driver that was involved with him in that first caution, Ryan Brommer, lines up in 11th. This is certainly going to be a very interesting restart. A lot of drivers with a lot of damage starting up here inside the top 10, top 15. Dylan Young last week ran well at Springfield, gained 9 spots up to 12th in points, so he's looking for his first win of the season. First time we've seen him up inside the top 5 here today, and he's going to be trying to run down Chris Dollerton, who gets the green flag with 8 laps to go. I think these drivers now, with what I've been seeing, I think they're running 1-lap shootouts for the race lead, because I think we're going to have another caution. Dylan Young, nice move there on Chris Dollerton. Go side by side for the top position. Jack Mitchell right there in the mix as well. Dollerton battles back on the top side though. Whoa, 43 looked a little loose going into that corner. Drives the corner wide, but I think he's got Dylan Young cleared. Nope, not quite. Here comes Dylan Young driving it in deep as they enter into the S's. Gonna be side by side for the race lead between a couple of Fords. Dollerton's already been muscled out of the lead before. This time he says, no, I'm not going to get muscled out, but he got pushed up just a little bit, and Dylan Young's going to clear for the spot. Mitchell's going to move to second. Dollerton falls back to third as Dylan Young takes the race lead here at Sonoma. Caution's out, so as I stated, these drivers now, they're just basically racing in one-lap shootouts towards the end of the race, I think. Dylan Young's going to lead them back here to the caution for the 6th, 7th, could be the 100th time, who knows. And now Dylan Young puts himself out in front for the next restart. Over Mitchell, Dollerton, and Quail. That's the second time I've seen Chris Dollerton get muscled out of the race lead, and it looks like a couple of drivers that were up near the front brought out this caution. V Almariego and A Garcia, they restarted up inside the top 10. In 7th and 10th, if I recall correctly. So, let's go back, take a look at a replay. I doubt we'll see anybody on pit road in these final 7 laps. So let's see what brought out this, our latest caution. Well, on the first caution, this is what happened to A Garcia after R Brommer wheel-hopped through the S's. Well, A Garcia now on the other end of that spectrum. He's the one that wheel-hops. And he's going to get into V Almariego, and the two of them are going to spin. So it's the second time the 12 has hit that concrete wall right there in the middle of the S's. V Almariego, though, his car was pretty clean before that, and some pretty extensive damage on that Hollister Target Chevrolet out of Sega Motorsports. That brought out the caution. It was an instant inside of the top 10. Let's go back for yet another one-lap shootout. We've gotten the 1 to green signal, but this will give us the opportunity to update the drivers that have gone back behind the wall. This is drivers after the caution that took place before this, our most recent one. J Yepez, J Shelton, and Benjamin Miles joining Jordan Lopez in the garage area. So that leaves us 36 drivers still running, with 35 of them on the lead lap. Dylan Young going to be restarting with the lead. And from what I've seen, at least on the last couple of restarts, you don't really want to be starting there. Because, I don't know, we've seen the leader at the time that we go back green get forced, in this corner right here that we're heading through, get forced out of line for the top position. Dollerton's had it happen to him twice. K Mathews and K Friesen made contact with each other when battling for the lead. So I don't know if you really want to be the race leader on restarts. But nonetheless, it looks a little bit different in the top 10 now after V Almariego and A Garcia had their issues. It's going to be Dylan Young, the leader, Jack Mitchell second, Dollerton in third. Fourth place is William Brock. Fifth, Matt Haas. J Jefferson in sixth. J Qualls up to seventh. Julius Anderson is eighth. Wyatt Quail ninth. And right now completing your top 10 is R Brommer. Looks like it could be a good day for Unknown Motorsports. J Yepez is out of the race, but the other three cars are up inside the top 10, restarting in 5th, 6th, and 8th. And a couple of them look like they have been through a demolition derby. Matt Haas doesn't even have a hood, however, he's still running up inside of the top 5. Here we go, I think we're getting ready for another one-lap shootout. I'm saying that because I think we're going to have a caution probably come out here on this lap, and so they'll be racing back to yet another caution flag, but we'll wait and see what happens as the green flag is back in the air. Mitchell was not all over the back bumper of Dylan Young, so we may not have a battle for the lead on our hands, at least here on this lap, unless Mitchell gets a really good run through this corner. Nope, not quite going to be able to do it. Looks like that damage catching up to Matt Haas. He just lost 5th to teammate J Jefferson through that corner. Certainly going to hurt him as far as the longer straightaway areas, I would think, in terms of speed. Jack Mitchell in the Chevrolet trying to run down Dylan Young in the Ford. Try and close up some ground here through the S's, as now we got a battle for third. William Brock side by side with Chris Dollerton. Ooh, Careful, little contact there between Brock and Dollerton. They kept it together, though. And that really killed the momentum of William Brock. Here comes J Jefferson trying to get the 4th position, tries to swing around the outside. And don't tell me the caution's out. Yep, I knew it. So that'll give Jack Mitchell and company another shot at Dylan Young. As the yellow flag waves once again here at Sonoma. Now, sometimes we get wreckfests at Sonoma, sometimes we get long green flag fuel strategy runs, and unfortunately this is the former of those two. And it looks like Carson Gum was involved in this one. Matt McIntire is back here, and Carson Gum's a teammate to Matt McIntire, so I almost wonder with the confrontation we had between Shelly and McIntire earlier, if maybe McIntire took it out on a Backmarker Motorsports teammate. Well, let's go back, take a little replay, as we have run so many laps here under pacing here today at Sonoma. When we go back green, though, I do believe we will be at a green-white checkered, and if the caution comes out on the 2 to go lap, the race will end under yellow. This is interesting. Carson Gum drives it in deep on Matt McIntire and spins him out. James Shelly, who had had that incident with Matt McIntire earlier on today, was back behind watching it. Well, I'm certain that probably what went on between Matt McIntire and James Shelly was certainly transmitted over the radio of the other Backmarker Motorsports Toyotas, and I think Carson Gum decided he was just going to drive it in deep, and if he wrecked the 7, so be it. But I don't think he was going to give Matt McIntire any room. So Matt McIntire making a little bit of some enemies here at Sonoma, it would appear. And that brought out the caution for what could potentially be setting us up for our only restart left in today's race. We've gotten the 1 to green signal, and a number of the leaders had to come to pit road. Dylan Young, Jack Mitchell, Chris Dollerton, Matt Haas, they all hit pit lane. Seth Cole was on pit road. Mitchell Collins, T Wright, J Gardner, and Keith Batson. That turns the race lead over to the 88 of William Brock. So some drivers could not make it on fuel, apparently. I thought this wasn't going to turn into a fuel mileage race, but apparently that is the case. So William Brock will restart with the lead. Second place is going to be J Jefferson now. Third, James Qualls. Fourth, Julius Anderson. Ryan Brommer will be in 5th. Then I believe it's K Mathews now 6th. Carter Friesen's back up in the top 10. He'll be 7th. James Shelly in 8th. Levi McIntire 9th. And the points leader, Jesse Turner, is going to restart inside of the top 10. And remember, I said that coming into this race, there were 4 drivers that were former winners here at Sonoma in other leagues, and one of them that I mentioned was James Qualls, the winner of the Season 10 Snickers Cup Series race here at Sonoma. He's restarting in the 3rd position. This is only going to be our final restart. We will not get back green after this if we have a caution come out on this 2 laps to go. It will be a green-white checkered. If we make it back to the white flag without a caution, we will race back to the checkered flag. If a caution comes out here with 2 to go, we will race back to the white flag lap, and the race will end under yellow. So it could be a 1-lap shootout, it could be a 2-lap shootout. That really all depends on these drivers here and how aggressive they're going to be in our trouble spots here today. But a lot of drivers looking like they could very well luck into a good finish. William Brock came to pit road when we had a caution come out, and that's how he was been able to cycle around to the race lead. J Jefferson was involved in an incident earlier on when he got spun out by James Shelly. He's up in 2nd. You've got Julius Andersson. You can see the rear end damage on the 4 up there in 4th. Ryan Brommer brought out the first caution. He's up there in 5th. James Shelly's been in some incidents today. Carter Friesen's been in some incidents today. They're up inside of the top 10. Ryan Butcher back there, just outside the top 10 in 11th. He's got a shot at a top 10, and he was involved in a wreck earlier on when he sideswiped Jessica Shelton. So a lot of drivers with an opportunity to luck into a finish much better than what they were probably destined for if we had gotten this race into a long green flag run. Now the question is, are we racing back to the caution or back to the checkered? It's a green-white checker finish here today at Sonoma. William Brock gets us underway. Green flag back in the air. Here comes J Jefferson. Gonna try and swing around to the outside. Can he get alongside going into this corner? Yes, he can. And Jefferson might have William Brock cleared off this turn. James Qualls right there as well. Brock gonna try and battle back on the top side, but Jefferson clears for the top position. William Brock trying to look to the inside. He can't get there. Maybe a little bump into the turn for J Jefferson. Jefferson coming into this race, currently situated in the 38th position in points, so he could certainly use a good run here today. Side by side back there between Levi McIntire and James Shelly. If we could just make it back to the white flag, but I don't think we're going to. I think we're going to have a wreck. Yep, caution's out. Carter Friesen's on pit road. We're racing back to the caution. Here comes William Brock with a big run there in the exit of the S's. Oh, he lost momentum off the corner, though. He's going to have to make a move here in turn 11. He's going to try it. Tries to get to the back bumper of Jefferson. He gave him a bump, but he didn't get him loose. J Jefferson's going to hold him off. Wait a minute, here comes Brock. Crossover. Jefferson's out of fuel. Jefferson's out of fuel. Brock's going to win. J Jefferson just ran out of fuel coming to the white flag. Oh my goodness. J Jefferson just ran it out of fuel. And if that's the case, what about William Brock? Is he have enough fuel to make it back to the line? And what about the other drivers behind him? Oh my goodness gracious. Jefferson crossed the line in 5th, but he's out of fuel. There he is. He's weaving back and forth. He's trying to get every bit of Sunoco fuel he can into the fuel intake, but he's out of fuel. What a heartbreaker for J Jefferson. Carter Friesen there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to show you guys on the NNSCRA split cam what happened to Carter Friesen, because we have to stay here live to make sure that these drivers here are going to be able to make it on fuel back to the start-finish line. A tough break for Carter Friesen. He was in the top 10 on that last restart. Started outside of the front row, was trying to continue on a good run that he had last week at Springfield, which moved him up to 20th in the point standings, our Daytona 500 winner. R Acosta we saw was on pit road as well. I don't know if showing on the replay if he was involved in whatever happened with Carter Friesen or not. But J Jefferson, who was looking like he could possibly win this race under caution, as he managed to get around William Brock relatively easily. Didn't even have to wait till getting over to the S's. He runs out of fuel, and now what about these drivers? I mean, these drivers, they're pacing at 35, so being that slow gives a perfect opportunity to be able to clutch and save fuel. And for William Brock, he's trying to get his first win of the season and trying to get the first win of the season for Northeast Motorsports, a team that is really, overall, if you think about it, they've kind of struggled. They do have Austin LaPlante up 10th in the point standings, but the other drivers, William Brock is 17th in points, Benjamin Miles, he is 33rd in points, and Ryan Butcher, he is 25th in points. And LaPlante was the only driver out of those 4 on that team that gained any spots in the standings last week. William Brock dropped 11 spots, Ryan Butcher dropped 10 spots, and Benjamin Miles dropped 7 spots. But staying out is William Brock. Just gotta have it under pacing to get back to the start-finish line. And if he succeeds in doing so, William Brock will be picking up his first win of the season. It'll be the 4th win in a row for Chevrolet Camaros, and first win of the season for the Northeast Motorsports team. He could coast now. He can make it. William Brock is going to pick up his first win of the season. He will take the Toyota Save Mart 350 at Sonoma. James Qualls will bring it home in 2nd. 3rd place is going to be Julius Anderson, Ryan Brommer in 4th, and Kyle Mathews. He's going to complete your top 5. Now look at some of these names up here in the top 10. James Shelly, damaged race car and all, gets 7th. Jesse Turner, the points leader, we never really talked about him all day long because he really wasn't up at the front, but talk about a guy laying in the weeds. He will extend his points lead with an 8th place run today. Ryan Butcher brings it home in 9th, so 2 of the Northeast Motorsports cars finish in the top 10. And Zach Rogers is going to complete the top 10. He kind of faded out of the top 10 midway point of the race, fought his way back up here in the closing stages. Trent Dunham, we never talked about him today. He finishes in 11th. Michael Norman will bring it home in 12th, a great run for him. Charles Sandfer there in 13th, Matt Rod in 14th, and Dylan Young, who pitted from the lead, could not make it when we had that last caution come out. He'll have to settle for 15th place. Jack Mitchell, Wyatt Quail, Chris Dollerton, who spent a good portion of the race out in front, 18th, Matt Haas 19th, and Seth Cole brings it home in 20th. As you take a look at the rest of the finishing results, actually no, Seth Cole was not 20th. Seth Cole actually is going to finish off the lead lap. I wonder if he and others ran out of fuel like Almariego and Watson because they finished behind J Jefferson. So we may have had a number of drivers run out of fuel here in the closing stages of this race. Nonetheless, though, this is the finishing results down through the 42nd position. Carter Friesen finishes the race behind the wall, joining Diego Yepez, Jessica Shelton, Benjamin Miles, and Jordan Lopez. But the man of the day is William Brock, picking up the victory here today. We had a bit of an unusual, exciting finish here, but we had a number of caution flags getting to that point. So unfortunately not nearly as exciting a Sonoma race as I was expecting we were going to have, but maybe next week will be exciting because we're going to be getting them wound up for 2 Mile Super Speedway at Michigan International Raceway, so hopefully that race will be a lot more exciting than today's race was. But nonetheless, William Brock picks up the victory, first of the season. He becomes our 8th different winner in as many races, so our playoff grid getting even more congested, as now we've got half of the playoff grid filled. That is, if Jordan Lopez, or I'm sorry, not Jordan Lopez, Jose Millz manages to stay still in the top 30 in points after his rather poor performance here today. But nonetheless, thank you all for tuning today's race here from Sonoma. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, and become part of the crew today. We've shown you full feature results, and these are your point standings heading to next week's race at Michigan. Till then, I've been Seth Cole, and you've been watching a production of the NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best.